everyone, welcome to part 7 of our Goal of the Decade countdown. We are rattling through the goals from 100 to 1, and in this video we're looking at goals 40 to 31. And to get us started, we're looking at goal number 40, the only penalty in our top 100 countdown. Saints were 2-1 down away at Millwall in March 2012, and Rickie Lambert scored a penalty in the 85th minute. Well, that made it 2-2. Saints then got another penalty in the 88th minute, and there was only one man for the job.
Every time you go to Millwall, you know it's going to be tough. Tough from the crowd, tough from the team, never a nice place to go. The atmosphere is vile at times, sometimes there's no denying that. It's a test of nerve. And who do you want to step up and take crucial penalties when you need a test of nerve? Rickie Lambert.
Pretty much every time we got a penalty, I didn't actually feel nervous. You know, for so long we had such a really good record as a club, you know, because, I only missed one. James Beattie, I don't think, missed any for the club. And then we had Rickie come along after that. Dodsey was pretty good when I wasn't taking them.
I've never been as nervous. Never been as nervous in my life taking a pen. And I've taken, I've scored at the Etihad, and I've scored, you would think, more pressured situations. But I didn't know where to put the pen. In my mind, I always have a spot. I'm going to hit that, I'm going to hit there. But as I put the ball down, I was changing my mind. And for the first time, the confidence just went, it went, completely went. I did not know where I was going to put the ball. And I knew it was for the win. And as I ran up, I was going to go left. And at the last second, I've just turned my foot a little bit and it's hit me heel. Horrific penalty, but it's gone about this far away from a studs, just in the middle of the goal. And obviously, it looks like I've meant it. It looks like I've just scored another pen. But mate, honestly, that's probably the closest I came to losing the record.
As Klein plays it down this right wing, Saints playing from left to right as we look down. Their fans opposite us on the other side of the pitch as Jakupovic clears his average. Wanyama tries to shoot from distance. Oh, we've had another remarkable start to a game!
A goal that, you know, not a goal source that you would pretty much associate with somebody like Wanyama as a player in the position that he played. But yeah, what a strike that was. I mean, not great play from the goalkeeper naturally, but you know, there's still a lot of work to be done. And to strike it first time, you know, didn't even have to take a touch. Just use the pace of the ball to guide it back towards goal. And yeah, certainly the goalkeeper will be embarrassed about it, but you know, it's a wonderful strike at the same time.
There was a period of time then when he was in the team, when Saints really competed incredibly well against the top big six teams, if you like. And he was a huge part of that. Those were the games that you really knew Victor was going to come into his own. Against some of the lesser teams, sometimes, you know, a bit less so. But against those big teams, he was so good at shielding the defence, neutralising some really top quality players. He was just an absolute sort of defensive midfield colossus for Saints, and just such a good player to have when you were playing those real big teams.
Shaw has got behind Azpilicueta. He's driving down the left wing. Luke Shaw still going towards the penalty area. Crosses in behind everyone. Comes to Puncheon. Sits up. Volley 2-2. Oh, what a goal that is! Fantastic strike from Jason Puncheon.
That game at Chelsea showed him at his best. That's a tough team to play. A Benitez Chelsea competing at the top of English football for a number of years by then, backed by their mega money, and to come back from being behind at Stamford Bridge showed Luke at his best, surging forward down the wing. It's a great delivery from him, and Puncheon's touch, control and hit was just wondrous.
First of all, just buzzing. I got on the field, I was like, here we go, like, let's have a go. And then obviously that sits up so nice for Punch, and the quality he had on his left dookie, just bam, again. Strikes it so clean, crisp, keeper had no chance. And I think at that time, obviously, big result. Off the back of that game, Nigel goes and Maurizio comes in. But that result played a big part in our survival.
That particular goal there, it's come down the left-hand side, it's come across, and Punch has come in from the right-hand side. And it's not a perfect connect. In other words, he hasn't handled the ball straight away without a first touch, but that touch, it just managed to go up in the air, and he strikes it out of the air on the volley, and it's a cracking goal.
So Ward-Prowse is over this, and it's in a good position for him with his right foot. It's left of centre, about 8 yards outside the penalty area. Should be able to get it up and down. He takes it, and he does get it up and down! And James Ward-Prowse scores again for Southampton!
As everyone's seeing today, he's the best free kick taker in the league. And it doesn't surprise me, to be honest. I can remember from very early on with James, seeing his technique, I just thought, woof, you can get some power into that. And he could get the dip as well. Normally it takes a young kid a while to get the dip. But he had it straight away, and I was like, he got put into the first team pretty much straight away. So me and him was practicing with a couple of others most days. And it was pretty clear to see straight away that he had a special technique of striking a ball. Full stop, but especially free kicks, it was unbelievable because he could keep the dip, but the pace was there as well. It was, and then obviously over the years, I think his confidence came, and I tried to help him and give him advice as much as I could. But I knew pretty much then that he had a better technique than me. All he needs is confidence.
James Ward-Prowse there with his stunning free kick. Now, who remembers what happened here at St Mary's on the 20th of March 2016? Well, Liverpool were in town and they were 2-0 up before Saints turned the game around. You'll have to wait a little bit longer for the winning goal, but this was Graziano Pellé's strike to make it 2-2.
Hits a long ball looking for Pellè. Can they get around him? It comes down for Davis, into Shane Long. Good touch for Pellè. Pellè onto his left foot. He shoots! He scores a brilliant goal!
Those are the days that you remember, I guess, when you follow Saints, and Graziano Pellé's goal against Liverpool. I mean, I think Stephen Davis plays it in. Shane Long kind of off balance, lays it off, and then Graziano puts it onto his weaker left foot and bends it in the corner. And then in that way that you expect of Graziano, he kind of wheels off to celebrate in front of his adoring public with not a hair out of place on his head, and despite having been roughed around for a while, and perfectly manicured facial hair, and just looking, you know, $1 million like he always did.
Some players don't handle, they can be really good players, but they don't handle pressure games particularly well. I think that particular goal, under the circumstances, he receives it on the edge of the box. And again, it's a typical striker's goal. He struck it on the turn, caught people by surprise, caught the goalkeeper, and he surprised me as well. He was on the turn, and again, he gambled and got away with it. And those are goals where you surprise the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper might be reading the game, expecting something else, but you catch him. And if he's not alert, like he did there, again, another good goal.
Back with Romeo. Classy. Ward-Prowse has come off that right side. Lets the booth out, 30 yards out, lines it up, left-footed. Oh, what a strike! What a goal that is!
Sofiane's got so much ability. From the day he walked in, it was just so blindingly obvious this guy had something very, very special. And the question has always been, can he produce it regularly enough in the Premier League? But when you see some of the goals he's scored, I mean, they are absolutely top drawer. And it's just always been the consistency. Can you keep getting it out of him week in, week out against different types of opponents? But the goal against Middlesbrough, he scores, he's cut inside, he's got it on his left foot, and it just goes to show kind of the ability he's got, that he can just sort of set it outside the post, curl it back in from 25 yards. Yes, the keeper is kind of gesticulating, I think, after it's gone in, that I couldn't see, but it's still such a precise finish, and it's so technically difficult to achieve it, and there's no guarantee the keeper even would have got there had he even seen it, because it was so sweetly struck by Sofiane, and it's just a great example of what he can bring to the team.
Okay, our next 2 goals actually belong to the same player. That man is Jonathan Forte. He was the super sub that got Saints League One promotion back on track. 2-0 down at home to MK Dons before 2 goals in 2 minutes turned the game around. Goals number 34 and number 33 belong to Jonathan Forte.
Jonathan Forte, wow. I mean, he's one of those that when you hear his name, you're like, oh yeah, I remember him.
Jonathan Forte was a player who never really had the impact that the manager brought him in for, in all honesty.
He hadn't really had too many opportunities to sort of have an impact, if you will. We were obviously flying. You know, we had a good top line up there. Barney was flying, Lambert, Gooley was around as well, and it's difficult for him to get in the team.
We were getting beat 2-0. Didn't really look like we were going to score. I think we were dominating the game, but didn't think we had many chances.
And it is Chaplow who comes off, so...
You never want to come off, but you know, when within 5 minutes or whatever it was, he's tapped 2 in, and we needed that result big time. I'm very thankful for him at the time.
Left-hand edge of the penalty area, good cross towards the front. It might fall for Ford, and his first touch of the game. Jonathan Forte, volley Saints back into the match. Lallana brings the ball down on the edge of the box. He's allowed to bring it down. He's got Harding on the overlap. Harding to the byline, low across the 6-yard area, and Ford scored again. It's remarkable at St Mary's. 2 touches, 2 goals, 1 minute. Jonathan Forte, what an impact that is.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible, to be honest. It was yeah, just out of nowhere. He's popped up in the right spaces. Got his first one, great finish, left foot, and then second one. And to see it go in, obviously I enjoy seeing anyone score a goal, but it was really special that time because he'd been in and out of the team. He wasn't playing that much. And then to get that moment, it was brilliant, and I was made up for me. Like you could see in his celebration how much it meant to him.
It was us, I think, Peterborough and Huddersfield fighting it out at the top, and just no one lost for like ever. We'd win. We'd check the fixtures after the game, and everyone had won again, and we was like, here we go again. So massive result, because I think if we lose that game, definitely lose momentum. Whereas it was, obviously, we kicked on from there and we never looked back.
I think it was an important moment for Saints. Had they lost that, you worried kind of where their season was heading and if it was going to be having to try and get through the playoffs, which is not what anybody wanted out of that year. But kind of the momentum that gave them and the springboard really, I think, pushed them forward to get over the line and get up automatically.
So this is undoubtedly my favourite Saints goal, A, I've commentated on, and B, that I've probably seen in the 15 years I've been working with the club. So it just tells you everything. It's absolutely full of class. For Rickie to look up, hit that pass, again shows Rickie had more to his game than people gave him credit for. Right-footed pass, curling from right to left, behind the defender just. J-Rod picks it up. He's been transformed playing off the left by Pochettino. Cuts in, doesn't try and keep going, just looks up and hits it. It's a fantastic goal. They cut Fulham to ribbons at times, and that was the ultimate breakaway goal for Saints that I've probably ever seen, along with Shane Long's in the League Cup. Just a fantastic moment of skill from both players.
It looks a brilliant pass, to be fair, but that's only because like you're passing to J-Rod. He makes passes like that look. Because you know if you can just put it in an area, he'll get onto it and he'll make it look like a brilliant pass. But people only talk about the pass because he's ran 15, 20 yards and put it in the top corner. But that season, it was a pleasure to play with him and Ads. I mean, it was a pleasure to play with all the lads. But I do have to make an exception for Ads and Jay. That's the best I've ever enjoyed playing football, was when I was up front with them too. It was brilliant.
I mean, it still feels slightly sickening to think about the injury that he suffered, and then not only that, but the setbacks in his recovery and the infections in his knee after the operations and things. Because though he's still done well and he's gone on and he has recovered from the injury, that player that he was lost. He's still got the technical ability to be able, because he's so good, to be able to play, but actually that real speed, that real oomph, and the trajectory he was on. I mean, I remember speaking to people I knew at the FA who were saying he was 100% on the plane for the World Cup, and just a few months before he gets that injury. And that's the trajectory he was on, and that was just such a shame for a player who was as good as he was and sort of had completely felt like he had the world at his feet.
Well, there we have it, another 10 goals down. We'll be moving on to our top 30 in our next video, including goals from Tadanari Lee, Jason Puncheon and Musa Djenepo.